Welcome to another movie. As you can see, this time we'll review another DumboRC remote. So what I have here is the DumboRC X5. As you can see, it's probably a pre-release box of a X4, if I'm not wrong, because I cannot see any of the buttons. So I will show what this remote have. I will show all the functions. We will test it on servo. Also I will compare it with the X6 model, the most popular in this moment. So these two are now the best on the market, and I have them both. Okay, let's see inside. The box is probably just a pre-release, so I think you will get a better one. I just get it one of the first probably, and that's why they send me in the white box, because the first X6 I also get in white box, and the second one I get in the color box. Okay, so this is what you get, or this is what I get. You get a receiver. It's a DumboRC X. Sorry, I get it a little bit closer. DumboRC X6. This one doesn't have any servo. Sorry, any gyro. So compared to the X6 model, that one have built-in gyroscope. You get, of course, a manual. It's actually almost the same one as on the X6, except of these two buttons instead of potentiometers. And I already know that the 4-channel is not the same. And of course you get a radio. Radio is basically the same. As far as I can see, they use the same, exactly the same mold, just because in here there are two potentiometers, and they just use the same one and just change the electronic and the switches, the potentiometers to switches. Of course, there are 4 AA batteries, nothing new in here. So let me take out the X6 and I will compare this two, so you can see the difference. Actually, I have the blue one. It's easy for me to let me get a remote. Okay, I will get the receiver later because I have it on my car. This is the compare. As you can see, they are exactly the same. Don't look at the color. I just have the blue one, but I also, if I remember, have the silver one or the gray one, as you chose. From the top, let me close this one. From the top, as you can see, instead of 2 potentiometers, there are 2 buttons. Funny stuff is that I get this button get loose and was running around the box, and I think it was broken. It just popped out, so nothing major in here. They're really exactly the same. Nothing new in here. They just use the same mold. So what's the difference? First difference is that the 4th channel is not the same. On the DumboRC X5 you have 2 position switch, not 3 position, 2 position. On the DumboRC X6 you have 3 position. This one is much better for me because, let me just find it on my desk. I use this light kit. I really like it. I have it on my Land Rover. I have it on my Mercedes, but I didn't finish that one. I ordered this one for BMW, And the difference between these two is that on this one the turn signals I can only use with the steering wheel, because this will automatically have it on the left and on the right, and this one have the middle position. So I don't like to have turning signals on the turning wheel, on the steering wheel. Why? Because no real car is turning turn signals while it's already turning. It's always turning the turn signals first. Maybe it's not when they are drunk or something like that, but a normal person will turn the turn signals first, not while it's turning. I just don't like it, but for some people it's just more easy to connect it with the steering wheel by the eye splitter. So it's all depend on you. I just don't like it. That's why I rather buy this remote, because I can just turn off the signal. If you are not using light kit, no problem. You have one on-off switch in here, one on-off switch in here with hold position, and two on-off switches in here. So you can have like light kit, I don't know, a smoke generator, maybe horn, something like that. So that's not a big deal, really. I have most of my cars don't have a light kit, so this will be still much better, because I have more channels. I can connect much more, like a servo to open front lights. That's why this one will go for the Chevrolet and Stingray that I will work on it, and I will order another one like this just to have the turn signals for my BMW. Of course, the second one is the two switches instead of two potentiometers. This idea is quite good if you want to have a servo with a control angle or something like that, or let's say a winch, when you can adjust a little bit speed to the right, a little bit speed to the left, and not full, and you still have a middle position. So on X6, yes, you have two, even three channels with the middle position, because if you turn off gyroscope, you have the middle position. This one will only have the low high, low high, low high, low high. So only let's say like RC switches, something like that, it's no problem. Changing the gearbox on, let's say, WPL, the motor with changeable gearbox, no problem. You can always change it, and like this you can just select if you want a low gear or a high gear. So still, that's not a big deal, but I really like this one. Also, the gyroscope is much better. Okay, so basically everything else will be the same. You have, if I remember, this one is for the channel 1, this one is for the channel 2. You have the gain, if I remember, the max angles. You have the center, max angle for the second channel, max angle for the second channel, centering for the second channel, reverse for the first channel, reverse for the second channel, and actually that's all. Okay, let me fly. Let me get batteries inside, and we will see, because I want to see if there is a programming mode like on the X6. I always have charged another batteries on my desk. Okay, so if I remember, right on, left, middle, no, sorry, the throttle, reverse on, forward, center, and we have the programming mode, and we repeat that. No, I did something wrong, so maybe that's a wait, that's a, and that's mode changing. Okay, let me see the manual first. What do we have in here? Features, blah blah blah, channel function, basic operation, binding, that's not interested. LED lights, direction, normal servo blue light is always on. Steering, mixed, oh, there is a mixed mode, so that's what I accidentally changed. Forward, release, oh sorry, I did it wrong. It's right on middle switch, and it's in the program mode. So the electronic is exactly the same on both. We need to set the maximum angles. That means those two potentiometers will probably change the maximum angles of these two channels. So not bad, because you can always adjust maximum angles on that gearbox or something like that. So that's still a nice feature. Okay, so let me connect the receiver. Now I will use my Avanti battery. I will use also my trusty UBEC. I will connect it to the first channel, negative, positive, and I will just use a servo, not 6 this time. I will just switch it because I don't need all of them in the same time. Come on, can get it out. Okay, we have the servo. I will first connect it to the second channel, and we will go up. So the second channel is the throttle. Let me connect the power. That switch, I will set it to the center. Sorry, it's quite hard to keep the receiver, the servo and the remote in the same time because they are really high. Okay, so the throttle, I like the resolution of the Dumbo. It's not like JJRC tick tick tick, the Jeep that I have, Jeep if I remember, have this resolution, and this one have really nice resolution. Okay, so that's the second channel. Let me switch to the third channel. Is the switch, that's maximum to the maximum. The fourth channel, so that's maximum in one direction, maximum in one. Yes, there is a middle position. That's weird. So the difference is this one have 3 clicks, and this one have only 2 clicks. But if you set it in the middle, you still have the middle position. Really great, because this one is much cheaper than that one. And so in this case, if you don't need gyroscope and second potentiometer, this one is really great. So that's really good. So we have the 3 position. It's not stopping in the middle, but we have 3 position. I really love this. Yes, finally. Okay, so we go on. Come on. The channel 5, like the TV. Oh, it's a short push button. Only when in one direction? Oh, that's something new. So channel 5 and channel 6 control the same servo. It's this one goes in here and this one. So this is a really great idea if you are using winch, because you have one direction, the second direction. Wow, that's really great. Okay, so what's the channel 6 in this case? Let me see. Wow, do you see this? I'm holding the button, I'm letting go, it's slowly getting back. Wow, that's really cool. Okay, let me reset the camera because I know it will turn off. Okay, sorry for that, but I know that my camera will do that. So now the 5 and 6 channels use the same buttons, but in the 6th channel, when you hold it, I will set it like this so you can see it. I'm holding it, rotating, it stops. So when I let it go, it will slowly get back, really slow. And second button is doing the same in the other direction. Holding it, it stops, letting go. Wow, that's really something new in a cheap remote like this. So let me get back to the 5th channel. The 5th channel is working like this: up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So the 6th channel, it's hard for me to think what this would be great for, because if you are using a ESC for a winch, while holding it, it will just slowly getting up, and if you let it go, it will slowly speed up, and if you let it go, it will slowly start to stop. So that's not a good idea. I just don't have any idea what that will be great, but this is great. I like this for a winch. Great idea. So in this case, that's interesting. Wait, is there a road? Change the 3rd, 4th channel. Nothing about this, the 3rd channel. Okay, so the potentiometers are just changing the maximal angles of this tool. Sorry, by mistake I think about this tool. So this tool will not have any changeable angles. So it's just full on both sides. But you can still change the hole on the servo, so on the arm. So that's not a big deal. But that's really great information if you are using the winch on the RC. Also, I did talk with someone that say when you turn off the remote first, the car go nuts. Yes, it did. So DumboRC may have this problem with the throttle. Now I have servo connected to the throttle. Now it's in the middle. I can control the throttle. I'm a little too close to the antenna, that's why it's freaking out. And when you turn it off, I turn it on. On, off, on, off, on, off. See? it's set like this and got back. That's probably a software problem. That's when you turn off the radio first and you have still connected power for the car, it's changing the angle on the throttle to the front, if I remember, making the car goes straight without the remote. So on is holding position, off. See, it's changed suddenly. So that guy asked me what about the range. So that's a really interesting idea. I did not notice because I always turn off the car first, and that's one of the RC rules. So I did not find this problem before, but this may be a problem with the range. But if this remote really have a 400 meters of range, that's still not a problem unless you don't have a flying car or a really fast one. But that may be problem if you if you lost range over the time, and this will happen. So hard to tell. It's not always. It's sometimes doing it, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's doing it when you turn it on. It's probably trying to find the middle position. It's really not always. Let me get it a little far away. It's on. It's off. Yes, it's changed. On. Off, on, off, on, off. So that may be a problem. So unless you are turning the car off first before you turn off the remote, that's not a big problem with the DumboRC. So this may be a problem with a firmware or something like that, or getting a fix after losing the signal or something like that. But telling the truth, when it's for how much they cost and what functions they have, this is not a big deal. I really like the functions, the price of this remotes, and how much channels they have. So that's not a big problem. Only problem would be if I will do this on the Mercedes that this remote is connected. Why? Because that one is really big, really heavy, and that may make a really big problems when the car will go forward without any remote. But actually that's not a big deal for me, because it's not changing to the full angle, it's just changing a little bit, so that's not a big deal. So it may be a problem with the software. Maybe they will get some upgrade. I have no idea if this phone will also upgrade, but still it's not a big deal. Okay, so let me disconnect the battery. So about these two remotes, actually the main difference now will be the gyroscope on this one. If you want to have a gyroscope, for people that don't know what that is, when the car is going forward, let's say the gyroscope, the receiver is set like this, if I remember, when it's going forward, and it will go on the rocks and start to not go straight, fall to the sides. The gyroscope inside will detect the strafing to the sides and will automatically turn the steering wheels just to go straight. So this is the function on mostly on the most more expensive remotes. I have it on my radio link. And this one is the first budget radio that have the gyroscope. So this one of course doesn't have it, does the most of the difference in the price. Also the 5 and the 6 channels. So that's I'm impressed in these functions because I did not expect it. I will use it on this one on the BMW and probably get another one for the Stingray, because I can still use the lights if I will order another another light kit, and I will not need the gyroscope in BMW or the Stingray, maybe in the Stingray, but I will think about it. I will not need the potentiometer because this one is for the gyroscope in this model, so this one will work fine for me. I will not actually need this one, but I still can use this one for the turn signals as well as this one, because when I will go, I can push the button to make the turn signals go right and steer it, but that's not a ergonomic hold, so this is still much better solution in both radios. So in this moment, yes, I think this radio is great if you want to use a winch on the car and you don't want to buy a expensive radio, because mostly the bigger radios have control for have so many channels and control for a winch in both directions. It's a really great buy. I will put a link in the description for the both radios if someone will still want to have a gyroscope, because they both can work with the switches, winches and etc. But so far I'm really impressed in this one because of the function of these two buttons, and I did think it's channel 5, channel 6, but it's both channels in the same times. So that's all for now.